If you've got a water softener in your home, you've got a really strange appliance in your basement, because think about it, it sits down there, you add salt to it, and what is it actually doing? Where's all that salt go? Well, in this video, I'm going to share a secret with you that most water softeners that are installed are not doing their job, and that's because we failed to do some simple maintenance that every manufacturer recommends. But in this video, I'm going to teach you some water softener basics as a homeowner that you need to know, and I'm going to show you how to do this easy maintenance that can bring an old unit back to life or keep your newer unit in great condition for years to come. Water softeners come in a couple of varieties. The one I have right here is an all-in-one unit. You can see that I've got that tank inside and there's salt on the bottom and I'm almost out. Now there are other types like this where the unit is separated into two parts. You've got that cylinder and then the salt reservoir on the side, and you probably know that because you've been putting salt in. So let's start with the first basic maintenance that is so easy. If you open your unit and you have no salt, you're going to want to top that salt up. Now this is not the brainstorm of the video. I just want to start with the basics that make you understand that you do want to fill this with salt regularly because you want to avoid running out. If your salt level is getting below the 1 or the bottom mark, that's when you're going to start to have problems. You want to use salt that's specifically labeled for use in a water softener. Do not use rock salt, pool salt, table salt, or anything else. Salt is salt, but the size and the type matters. First time you go to your softener, fill it up with salt all the way or almost to the top. That's the right move. But then what you want to do is let that salt get used up. You don't want to add salt again until it gets down to about 1/3 of the way from the bottom, or maybe halfway. The reason you're doing this is if you keep adding salt, what can happen is you can form a sort of buildup or a block inside there called a salt bridge that can cause you trouble. And by letting it get consumed, you're going to make sure that that salt continuously flows down. Now this unit's about 6 years old and it's got a digital readout on it. So when you add salt, you might not realize you need to go into your unit and tell it how much salt you added, but it's easy to do. All you need to do is watch how much salt you add, and that little strip on the side you can see there's numbers. Now once I put the salt in, I just go onto the computer and with a couple of buttons, I program that I added it to the 7 setting. Now everything on this computer will be correct. And if you've got a unit with a mechanical timer like this, you don't need to mess with the setting for the salt at all, so you can move right on to our next step. To understand how to maintain your softener in the next step, you've got to get the basics of how it works. So when you think of a water softener, think about it as a water filter. Now if you took one of those Brita filters, what do? Dirty water goes into that filter and clean water comes out. But every so often you've got to replace that filter because it gets a buildup of all that dirt and other materials in it. Now a water softener is very similar. Hard water goes into the softener and soft water comes out, but you never have to change one of those filter cartridges, so how does it do it? Inside your softener are a bunch of little pellets, kind of like BBs, but they're made of plastic. And these pellets actually have a special property. They are attracted like magnets to those hardness molecules or those little bits. So what happens is your water goes in, the hardness gets attracted and sticks to those pellets, and out comes the soft water. Once they get loaded up with hardness, you need to wash that hardness off. And the way that is done is with the salt. The salt actually rinses over those pellets and the hardness molecules are released and it's flushed right down the drain. And this seems like a perfect system, except there's one problem. If you've ever forgotten to load salt for any amount of time, resin gets an excessive buildup of the hardness, and it kind of pollutes the resin and coats it to a point where the salt can no longer wash it clear. And then that problem can get worse, because if you do it again and again, and this can even happen over years, you're gonna get a caked on buildup, and now the resin can't do its job properly. Now we need a miracle product that can scrub that resin and make it like new. You'd think it'd be expensive and difficult, but it's actually super cheap and very easy to do. And it's kind of a secret, but if you looked at your water softener closely or your manual, you'd see this little symbol right here that tells you exactly what we need. And this product is called Super Iron Out. It's a terrible name, but it works so well to scrub your water softener's resin and restore it to like new condition. And now that we know we need to do this at least on an annual basis, let's take a look at how easy it is to use. Fortunately, this iron out product is easy to use, it's super inexpensive, and it works amazingly well. So just take the bottle of iron out, get yourself a container that you're going to put in a half a gallon of cold water. Now I'm using this clear container so you can see what I'm doing here, and then just a couple of basic tools like a spoon and your measuring cup. So with your water in the container, we're going to measure out 1 cup of the iron out. So that little bottle there is very cheap and it actually goes a long way. You'll probably be able to clean your unit several times at least with this single bottle. And that's a half cup measuring scoop. That's why I had to do 2 of them. But it is 1 cup of iron out to half a gallon of cold water. And this fizzes and bubbles a little bit, and I like to stir it until it pretty much completely dissolves. Now almost every water softener is going to have this, and this thing is called the brine well, and you're going to reach in there and you're going to pop the cap off the top of it. Now you don't usually need any tools, and with a little bit of effort it should snap right off. We're going to put that aside, and now we're going to take that solution that we mixed up. And you just take that and you're going to pour it directly into the brine well. Now if you spill a little bit in the salt, you don't have to worry because you actually can add it that way as well. But the directions recommend this is one of the best ways to do it to get the most effective cleaning. So you're going to pour this in until it's completely inside the brine well. Now we're just going to replace the cap just how we found it. We're going to snap it back into place. And our last step involves us just manually triggering a regeneration cycle. Now, if you've got a digital unit like mine, you'll have some type of a recharge button. When I press it once, it's going to say recharge tonight. But what I want to do is activate it right now. So if I press it again and hold it, it's going to activate a valve and you can hear it, and it's going to start the recharging or the regeneration cycle right now. If you've got a manual timer like this, you usually just have to rotate that little arrow knob there until the unit starts. So water softeners are not really exciting, but maintaining them is important because it's going to save you money and protect your plumbing in your house. So doing this can maintain a newer unit for a long period of time, or if you've got an older unit that's just a piece of junk that just doesn't seem to work, give this a try because you're very likely going to bring some new life back to your old unit. And if you look online at the reviews, this product is very popular for this, but for most people who own a water softener, they've just never seen it. So I hope this video was helpful to you, might save you some money, and if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more videos coming up.